Hey book girlies, I'm Sarah.
Hey gamer bros, it's Ian.
And you're listening to a pod of sass and sarcasm. So, in the last 24 hours, have you played any games?
I played a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, like 10 minutes.
Of what?
Of Warframe.
Oh, of course. So, yeah, for our listeners, we are recording about 24 hours after the last episode, but we're still releasing it a week later because you guys deserve the wait.
Wow.
So, this is kind of awkward, but I ended up reading pretty far ahead and I need to talk about it, so that's why we're recording so quickly. Do you want to tell me about the 10 minutes of Warframe that you played?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Oh, God.
So I was in free roam doing some fishing.
Oh, of course, as one does.
So I just queued into the free roam slot. And I was like fishing for a good 10-15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then partway through, I just lose connection with the host. And so I lost all the fish I caught, and I was really upset about it.
Yeah?
I was like, yeah, I'm getting so many fish. I'm going to catch so much stuff. I'm going to turn it in. I'm going to get some reputation. We're all going to be good. I'm going to get some more resources. This is great. Nope.
No.
I got nothing.
And then what happened? Did I call you in and say, let's record?
Yeah.
Ah, shit. I'm so sorry.
I was like, oh, man.
That's a big bummer there.
I guess I did get a little bit of some challenges completed.
Mm-hmm.
Just what I was trying to do by going fishing. But
That's impressive that you got all that done in 10 minutes.
well, I just know where the fish are, and it's really quick. It's like,
Yeah.
snappy.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that you lost all your fish.
Yeah, it was a bit annoying, but I'll get over it.
Will you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Can I tell you about my book?
You want to do a quick recap first?
Yeah. Okay, so quick recap. We are currently about halfway through Amelinda Berube's Here There Are Monsters. Sky's younger sister Deidre, who at first seemed like a normal, albeit quirky teenager, had started behaving very oddly in the months leading up to her disappearance. Sky and Deidre used to play a game called Kingdoms when they were younger, where they would pretend to go on adventures, fight monsters, and play with magic. Sky was the Queen of Swords and Deidre's protector. Then one day, Sky apparently took it a little too far and a little bit too seriously, and she heard a kid named Tyler, who had been picking on Deidre. This prompted the family to move, and Sky to despise the Queen of Swords and that whole entire game. After the move, Deidre started playing a darker version of the game alone because Sky refused to even acknowledge her existence or the fact that they were related. And it very quickly became more than a game to Deidre. It was real for her. Deidre was scared of something that she found in the woods, but she knew that nobody would understand it, so she just kind of kept quiet about it. She spent a considerable amount of time outdoors, and then when she was indoors, she was building stuff out of sticks, bones, leaves, mud, and scraps of fabric, being really weird and freaking pretty much everybody out. Then one day, she just disappeared, and Sky is left to figure it out. In the last episode that we had, 24 hours ago,
Yeah.
Sky's sword was found deep in the woods, even though she had tossed it into the yard, and a literal boogeyman came scratching at her window in the middle of the night, and that's when we learned that monsters are in fact real, and magic is real. And if that's the case, because, there's still a tiny amount of uncertainty, but we're pretty fucking sure at this point that that's what's going on, then Sky decided that the Queen of Swords also needs to be real, and she needs to go rescue her sister. Finally!
Finally, she's like, fine, I will be the bitch.
I will be the bitch I was destined to be.
But I can't let William know.
No, of course not. Here's what happens. As the darkness ebbs away, the fog settles in, and the woods are ghostly, spindly shadows sinking into the gradations of emptiness, thin gray lines of tree trunks fading with distance. Wisps of vapor swirl around my feet as I walk. My sneakers are wet. The sword is heavy in my hand, but I keep the point outstretched as long as I can, swinging it every now and again to rest my arm. There's nothing left where the creature fell last night, of course, just the 2x4 lying in the grass. Well, this will be the test, real or not. If nothing happens now, it was just a dream. I'll just forget about it. I press forward until the house is a faint suggestion behind me, threatening to disappear. The air is still, clammy as cold hands against my face. Deidre's necklace dangles from my hand. If this is real, then there's a way in. There's a way to find her. I'm past caring if it's ridiculous to try this. It's what Deidre would do. And for once, that's exactly what I need. To follow her footsteps. If I'm the Queen of Swords, even a kingdom that's turned rogue, grown wild, has to answer to me. The dripping silence closes around me. The shadowy trees lean twisted branches overhead, shedding wet leaves in a slow but continuous trickle. Ooh.
Gave me the shivers a little. It even gave the computer a little shiver. It went.
So basically, this is the next morning after the very spooky monster was scratching at her window the night before, and she went out to confront it and hit it with a 2x4, and it just disappeared.
It went poof.
It went poof. So this is like the next morning. She's going into the woods to see what she can find. Basically, she's going into the woods to fuck around and find out.
No, the monsters have been fucking around. Now they're about to find out.
Yes, they're about to catch her hands because...
she's a blue belt in karate.
So I know that I've criticized Sky in the past for leaving the house and going into the woods, but I'm actually really excited about this. About her finally taking charge, finally giving a fuck about her sister, because goddamn, it was irritating the shit out of me that she just didn't care what was going on with Deidre and didn't care about all of this. I think that this story in general is kind of like a big metaphor for how we as a society tend to treat mental illness. Because like I think there is a lot of like discussion of, is Deidre crazy? Or is this like normal behavior? Or is there fantasy and all that kind of stuff? We've been going through all of that. But I think like if the fantasy element was taken out of this, this would be a story about how people treat mental illness and mentally ill people.
Yeah, probably. I can see that.
As Sky is walking into the woods, she notices quite suddenly that there's silence. She can't hear stuff like she did that one time when she got lost.
Mm-hmm. And
so she presumes that she's entered into the magical world. So she starts shouting into the woods, demanding that they return Deidre to her. And she doesn't even hear the echo of her own voice, but she does hear the soft footfalls of something behind her. And she turns to see the same spooky creature from the previous night, a tall thing made of sticks and bones and strips of fabric. And then she realizes that there's not just one of these things, not just two, but three of them, and they surround her. And it gives me the creeps. One of them has like a porcupine pelt as like a thing to... like a cape basically, I guess, or it's like clothing. And one of them has like tree bark armor. And again, the creatures surround her. And Sky doesn't freak the fuck out. She stands her ground. Stay back! I make a desperate feint like I'm about to lunge at them, swiping the air with the sword. I'm the Queen of Swords, goddammit. You have to tell me what you've done with her. Stay back and answer me. By wood, stone, water, and bone. They jerk to a reluctant halt, just out of my reach, and stand in place, swaying, leaning toward me like hungry dogs outside of a fence. They smell dank and rotten. The faintest whiff of spoiling meat is a nauseating thread through the layers of cold water and decaying leaves.
Yeah, that's a gross stink.
That's a stank. Who? So, inevitably, the creatures bow to her. Like, they make, like, this grand gesture of bowing, and it's really spooky because they're very creaky, and you're like, are they gonna fall apart because they're, like, barely held together? And I'm not sure if these creatures necessarily mean her any harm. Like, I don't know if these creatures are the actual monsters, because logically, one, they keep coming out to try to like get Sky in there, which maybe is a bad thing, like maybe that's a ploy.
Yeah. I feel that they are Deidre's puppets.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they have to be like Deidre's puppets. And so if they're Deidre's, they're there to, like, help her, maybe, and protect her. But I don't know, because, like, I think if they weren't Deidre's creatures, then they wouldn't bow, not even to the Queen of Swords kind of thing. Like, they wouldn't respect that, you know? They wouldn't respect that title. I just wonder, though, if there's something creepier and worse in the woods. The thing that Deidre was afraid of, I don't think it was these creatures. I think it was something else. Maybe something that taught Deidre the magic to make these creatures, but, like, also holds a lot more over Deidre. I don't really know. Just as Sky is about to ask the creatures again where her sister is, she hears the sound of rustling leaves, but there's no wind and nothing that really, like, could have disturbed those leaves. And then, oh, this gives me the creeps. Then she hears a giggling voice, but I don't really want to call it a giggling voice, because it's not just one voice. It's like many voices wrapped into one, which is really creepy. And this voice does eventually start talking to her, and it refers to itself as we, so it sounds like there's many of them, which is creepy. But she doesn't see what is causing these voices ever. She just hears the voices. And they start off by mocking her, you know, because, you know, what else? They're like, oh, look, the Queen of Swords is here. Oh, no, we're so scared. It's the Queen of Swords, and all that kind of stuff. And so Sky eventually gets fed up with them mocking her. Who are you supposed to be, anyway? I yell. Giggles make the trees clack and shiver in the breathless air, stirring the fog into ragged swirls. Maybe we're the Queen of Winds, the whispers twine around me, still laughing. Maybe we're the Queen of Bones. Maybe we're the Queen of Broken Promises. That's just a game. That was our game, and you stole it. You've stolen my sister. Your game, Queen of Swords. Now it's yours? The laughter in the air dies as suddenly as a snuffled flame. Now you want her back? You walked away. She's gone. She's never coming back to you. Go home. She's never coming back. You already walked away. Walk away. Go on. She's my sister, I say through clenched teeth. I'm not walking away. Not without her. So noble. So brave. Look at the Queen of Swords trying to win her honor back. Look at the Queen of Swords who fell asleep on her watch, who fell asleep and let the wolves in. Look, you came after me, remember? Fine. Here I am. What do you want? Walk away, Queen of Swords. Walk away. She's ours. You don't love her. You never did. Walk away. Walk away. She's my sister, I wail. Of course I love her. Prove it, then. The words pour over me, an icy river of contempt. I let the point of the sword droop to the ground, bereft, bewildered, thinking frantically. How? What do you want? There's a silence. And then I see where this is going. There's something you want me to do, isn't there? Stop playing games and tell me what it is. The branches of the tree shiver. The voices drawl. Oh, let's see. Let's give the Queen of Swords some tasks for us, some trials. Let's see her prove it. And I swear to God, if Sky has to face a goddamn worm...
she's gotta go find an earthworm and eat it. You have to go eat an earthworm, child.
Then she's gotta read something.
You gotta read. You gotta read to the earthworm.
Oh, that's a joke from another book. But, oh my God. Anyways. Oh my God, I find that so spooky. But also so goddamn validating, because, like, this voice thing also says at one point, after she's like, of course I love my sister. They're like, well, we love her more. And, like, you don't love her as much as we do. And I'm like, yeah, you and I have been saying that this whole goddamn time. We're like, why the fuck do you hate your sister so much? Like, don't you love her? Isn't there some kind of familial bond? And it's like, yeah, even this forest, which is mocking her for sure, but, like, even they can see, like, yes, Guy, you kind of a shitty sister.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, a bargain is struck. If Skye passes their test or their trials, then both she and Deidre are set free and the magical forest creatures are never to bother them again. But if Skye loses, the forest keeps both of them forever.
Oh, both of them. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And Skye considers the bargain seriously. She doesn't answer right away, which I'm like, thank God, you've got a little bit of a brain. She recognizes that they took Deidre. They're probably the thing that killed Mog. And she could very easily be the next one to disappear. And she thinks about it, like, could she hurt her parents like that? But at the same time, could she really just walk away knowing that if Deidre didn't come home, it was her fault?
Mm-hmm.
Could she really just prove the magical forest creature's point by walking away? By being like, all right, bye, I don't love her. You know?
You're right. I don't love her. I'm going back inside. It's cold out here, you guys.
But she realizes that before the offer was even made to her, that they already had her. Like, like she doesn't actually have a choice. So she agrees to the terms. And Skye's first task is to make them a gift or a secret. At first, Skye assumes that they want her to tell them one of her many secrets. But apparently, I just find this really funny. It's like bratty sister behavior. Apparently, Deidre already told the woods all of Skye's dirty secrets.
Oh, she's got new secrets, though.
And so they want Skye to give up a secret as a sacrifice.
I got a good one for her. The night my sister went missing, I went out drinking with friends.
It wasn't the night it was the night after she went missing. And they already know that because, as we'll find out, they watch her. They've seen what she's done. Like, the things in the forest have been watching her this whole time. So
they watched her stumble into the creek.
Yes.
They're like, and that's what the jingling was. They're like, hey.
Fucking assholes. Yeah, that's probably what
it wasn't trying to lure her. It was just straight up laughing at her.
Yeah, for sure. So, they explain what they want. Not in the clearest of terms, but they say, "We know all your secrets. What good would that do? We want you to give up a secret, make a present of it, give it up, sacrifice. We want you to pay for it." The last 3 words are like slaps, delivered with such venom that I reel back a few steps. Lay it out in the sun, the best secret. Let the invaders know who they're dealing with, the Queen of Swords. Make them understand. Make them hate you. Make them bow and scurry. Spread your secret far and wide where we can see, where everyone can see. We're watching you. We will know. Make them hate you. Invaders. That's what Deidre kept calling William. She hated him before she even set eyes on him. What's so different about me and Deidre, I demand. How come we're not invaders too? Did we say you're not an invader, Queen of Swords? We said no such thing. No. This is how you prove it. Your sister proved she loved us. Now you have to prove it. Prove you're no invader. Make them hate you or you're one of them and your sister is ours forever. Ours to love and keep. We'll give you until the full moon. This is so creepy. I am thoroughly creeped. That is so scary. Yeah. That's so
interesting.
And it's so sad too to like, because she was finally enjoying having friends and, you know, getting close to William and all of that, and now they're like, yeah, make that fucker hate you.
Yeah, and it was like, maybe I have the chance to have someone like me.
Right. And
like, she seriously considered telling him that she liked him.
So somehow Skye goes home after that conversation. I don't know how.
They let her go.
I know they let her go, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know how I could go home after that. I would just be like, what the fuck?
Well, she has a task to fulfill.
She does have a task to fulfill. And a huge decision to make about how she's going to fulfill this task. And of course, the next full moon is in 3 days' time. So not much time to make this decision. So she has 3 days to burn everything down, as she puts it. She wants to believe that she's having an extended fever dream, but deep in her gut, she knows that this is real and that she's the only one who can save Deidre because she's the only one looking in the right spot. Also, the creepy wind voice thing never specified how many tasks it wanted Skye to complete, which to me is super ominous because if you know anything about any magical forest creature lore, like fairies and shit, you better be fucking specific because right now this feels like they could ask her to do tasks till she fucking dies, you know? Like, they never specified an amount. I'm assuming it's probably 3 tasks. That's usually how these kinds of stories go, but like, watch her get through a 3rd task and be like, alright, where's Deidre? And they'll be like, we never said 3 tasks. Do a 4th, bitch. You know?
You will forever be doing tasks.
Yeah. So that makes me nervous. I'm like, Skye, know your magical forest creature lore.
You need to specify.
You need to specify.
I will do 1 task.
Right?
Make it count.
So I'm nervous for how many trials Skye is going to go through before they get bored of the game. But anyways, Skye tries to think of a loophole, but she doesn't have a lot of time. And so she's having a really hard time trying to find a loophole, whether it's the fact that she's trying to convince herself that she's just dreamt all of this, whether if, I don't know, just any kind of loophole in how they phrased the trial. But really, like, her goal is to make them hate her, her friends. That's her goal.
Oh, it's easy. That's easy mode.
It was very clear that she needs to tell them her secret is what the forest was telling.
Oh, I thought they just wanted her to, like, make them hate her.
Yeah.
And you can do that without telling a secret.
Yeah, but they did specific.
Or one of her secrets. You can just be like...
Yeah.
Can be like, I will now beat the shit out of Kevin.
For no reason.
I'm gonna flame everyone and be like, oh, these lesbians.
Yeah.
Oh, the girl you're interested in is a lesbian, just like your gay mom.
Oh my god.
and then you beat up, what was his name, William?
Yeah.
You just beat up William and call him a baby back bitch, just
yeah.
like make fun of him and be like, you're just like your dad, a pussy.
Oh damn.
I'm better than you and your dad.
Yeah.
That's what I thought this was going to go for. So I was like, oh, easy mode. I've already thought of like 13 things to make these people hate her.
I'm so excited to tell you what comes next. Okay. So, on the evening of the 2nd night, so she has basically one more night to go through before the full moon, Sophie drops by her house and invites Skye to hang out with Kevin and William, and herself, obviously. And she had actually done the responsible thing by asking Sarah, Skye's mom, first. Which I'm like, thank God, give Sarah a break. She's struggling here.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Skye and Sophie first arrive, Kevin and William are making a bonfire, and immediately Skye asks for some alcohol, and they're like, it's a school night, and she's like, not for me, I'm not going to school. Like, what the fuck? My sister's missing. Fuck you guys. And so they, of course, are like, yeah, sure.
They're like, yeah, fuck it. Let's get drunk.
Well, actually, they were like, we're going to be responsible and only have 1 drink.
That's what they all say.
And then Skye was like being very reckless about it. And she was thinking it would make this whole thing easier. But it really didn't. She started talking about her past. And she was like, I don't have a lot of friends. I've never had friends before, really. And they were like, yeah, that's a bummer, Skye. We're your friends now, though, so don't worry about it. And she's like, no, there was a reason I didn't have friends. And they're like, yeah, but who cares? You have friends now, and we care about you. And she's like, you guys aren't listening to me. And then Sophie, like, excuses herself to go to the bathroom or something. And then with the way that conversation is going, William's like, you need some water. Let me go get you some water. And so he gets up and goes inside. And so then it's just Skye and Kevin.
Skye's gonna push Kevin in the fire.
So Kevin says that he doesn't understand Skye, and he especially doesn't understand why Sophie and William are so dazzled by her. I don't get you. I let my head drop back against the cushion. Whatever, Kevin. I'm an open book. She's drunk, by the way. She slammed 2 drinks immediately, and they were like, "What the fuck?" Whatever, Kevin. I'm an open book. What you are is kind of mean, he says, startling me into looking around at him. He's watching me, frowning, his knuckles at his mouth. And, I don't know, judgy. "Aw," I sneer, but I'm stung despite myself. "What are you saying? I hurt your feelings?" "Look, I don't like you either," he shoots back. "But my friends are telling you all their secrets for some reason, so I'm at least trying. And you take a shot at me every chance you get. Like, what the hell? Am I missing something?" "And what kind of friend are you?" I snap. "A friend wouldn't talk about Sophie like she's a piece of meat. William doesn't." "That was one time. See? Judgy." "Yeah, maybe people might judge you when you spout bullshit. What a concept! Do you ever mean anything that you say? Do you?" he challenges. "Your whole voice changes when you talk to Sophie. It's so fake. It's fucking creepy. And I know William's all dazzled by your Wonder Woman act, and you're interrogating me about this now?" Playing this card feels like losing, but suddenly I don't care anymore. Whatever will shut this conversation down. Tonight? God, they keep telling me that you're not an asshole. It works. He falls silent and sits back a little, frowning. I glare at the fire so I won't have to look at him. He thinks he sees right through me, does he? Well, the joke's on him. Mean and judgy barely scratches the surface.
You think you see me? You see what I let you see.
Basically.
You're about to see the whole thing, buddy.
She's like, "Oh, you think I'm mean and judgy, and you think that's the worst of it? Oh, you're in for a big surprise, Kevin. I am well past mean and judgy, let me fucking tell you." So William returns with a glass of water just then, and Skye makes up an excuse to go home, because she's chickening out. So William walks with her, but she's too out of it. She passes out drunk on her bedroom floor. The next day, William comes over in the afternoon to watch a movie with her. She thinks that maybe she can tell him her secret then and basically make him do the dirty work of telling the others to also hate her. But when the time comes, she just can't do it. And so he leaves, and she goes to bed. And this, I thought, would have been the night of the full moon. And it is. But also, like, scientifically speaking, the full moon lasts for 3 days. So,
So she's got 3 more days, I guess.
I don't think she does. I think they wanted it by the first night of the full moon, but they didn't specify that either. Fairy folk, you gotta get your shit together. But
So she's failed so far.
she's failed so far, but they do give her like a second chance before, all doom and gloom. She goes to bed after William leaves, and she has a wildly disturbing dream. And in this dream, Deidre is digging a hole in the yard, and when she turns to look at Skye, her face is just an exposed skull, and her hands are antlers. Then Skye realizes that she's digging a grave, and Deidre says some ominous shit like, "You'll grow fine roots," before a bunch of hands just come out of nowhere and grab Skye and toss her into the grave. And she wakes up to the full moon shining through her window, and she notices the door to the crawl space, because, again, her room is in the basement, and so there's, like, the little crawl space. She notices that it's slightly ajar, and she's like, what the fuck? So she goes over to it and opens it, and just there is, like, this chaos of dirt and roots and creepy plants and things like that it just, like, is overgrown. And it wasn't like that just a few weeks ago when her dad and her set up the basement as her room. They had put in those doors to the crawl space, and it wasn't like that when they put the doors in. So it's definitely the forest trying to give her a sign. And she understood that message and decided that her priority has to be saving Deidre, and she's going to deal with whatever fallout happens later. So the next day, she gets herself ready for school and walks herself to the bus stop where Kevin, Sophie, and William are waiting. They didn't think she was coming to school because she said she wasn't. She was like,
I don't fucking care.
I don't fucking care. I'm not going to go to school and whatever, because Deidre's missing, so, like, why would I? And Deidre's been gone for almost a week now, because, like, when we think about, like, how many days this task has been, and she's already on, like, day 3 after it, and it's been a few days before that. So It's been a while, and so she hasn't been going to school like this whole time. And so obviously her friends are kind of awkward about the fact that they see her. They weren't waiting for her, they're waiting for the bus. You know, they're all like, are you really going to school right now? Are your parents making you go to school? That's fucked up. And she's like, no, they're not making me. I have to be here right now. And they're like, oh yeah, totally, we get that. They don't, but like
they're like, I totally get it. You got to be somewhere else right now. You can't be there anymore. And she's like, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah. And so she doesn't say much. She just kind of sits on, like, there's like this wall apparently that is kind of like crumbling. She sits on it next to William, which is apparently her usual spot. On her way to the bus stop, the forest had made it very clear that it was watching her. As she was walking past parts of it, she saw those creepy creatures. And she saw this crow land on one of the creatures, and then the creature like sent it off flying out. And so it was, like, there was this crow following her, and she was like, great, okay, I get it. You're watching me, and you're giving me an extra fucking day, apparently. She knows that she's being watched. Along the way, she thought about telling her parents about all this crazy shit she's been seeing, because again, she's trying to find an out, some kind of loophole, because she's like, maybe I can convince them that I'm crazy and they'll hospitalize me and it'll be out of my hands and somebody else will have to save Deidre. But then, while she is sitting at the bus stop, she's not saying much. The three of them, Sophie, William, and Kevin, are, you know, just bantering like they usually do. And then that crow comes swooping in to fuck everything up and is basically antagonizing them. Kevin grabs a rock to try to, like, taunt it and to get it to, like, fly away. And it eventually does fly away, but, like, it just goes across the street and then into the woods, obviously. And it, like, nods at Sky, like, fucking do your shit. We're watching. We're ready. We see you've got all the invaders there. Excellent. Now fucking make them hate you. And she's like, okay. I got this.
Don't worry about it.
I got it. But the thing is that she can't say that she's going crazy because all of them saw the bird. And so she's like, if everybody is seeing this stuff, you know, I can't discredit myself because they saw it too and they saw the bird behaving weirdly. So she's like, I've got to do it. She's running out of time before the bus comes as well because, like, that's how time works. And so she's, you know, they're all talking about how crazy the crow is and all that kind of stuff. She's having her existential crisis internally. And then she blurts out her deep, dark secret that we've been itching at this entire book. I almost drowned somebody once, I say loudly. Put like that, it sounds weirdly casual, like it was an accident, like it was no big deal. But it gets their attention. They all turn to frown at me. The conversation shattered like a reflection in a pool. His name was Tyler, I bite out. He was in my year, and he wouldn't leave Deidre alone. She said I had to do something. I had to make him stop. I always had to make them stop. It was practically my job. But with Tyler, nothing I did made any difference anymore. I gave this guy a black eye once. I whip a punch out at the air to demonstrate. William twitches away from me, startled. It just got me suspended. Sky, Sophie puts in uneasily. Maybe this should wait until... No, my voice cracks. I have to do this, and I have to do it now. They exchange glances. I breathe in, breathe out, my head pounding with adrenaline. Tyler was the ringleader. If I got him, everyone else would back off. And he knew I could have kicked his ass any time, but I'd have gotten expelled. And then it would have been open season. She wouldn't have anyone left to defend her. So I took it outside of school. I spent a while following him, figuring him out. He didn't live that far from us. There was this valley. I have to stop and swallow, close my eyes. He cut through it on the way home. He was so fucking cocky, it never occurred to him that it might be dangerous to be out there alone. Boys never worry about that, but I was out there too, and I knew where to wait for him. Look, William interrupts, you were protecting your sister. You don't think we get that? You don't understand. I push his hand.
You don't fucking get it. I hunted this man.
You don't understand. I push his hand away from my shoulder. My fingers are white and numb from clutching the railing. There's a river at the bottom of that valley. It's fast and cold, and people drown in it all the time. The words are tumbling out faster now. A machine set in motion. Nothing left to lose. No point in stopping. I waited for him by the river, and I hauled him down to the water, and I held his head under. Again and again. I told him I was going to drown him. I told him nobody would ever know the difference. Nobody would ever know he hadn't just fallen in. You should have heard him. He cried so hard he could barely talk. Silence. The wind whistles around us. My heartbeat pulses behind my eyes. I wait for it to sink in, for them to back away, for the mutters of revulsion to start. But all that happens is a touch on my hand that makes me jump. William's fingers closing over mine.
Uh-oh.
William?
William's like, here, I got you.
He's like, I'll be your friend. And I'm like, she's not expecting them to be so nice and so forgiving of something that is really fucked up. Like, that is
yeah, I don't know.
Fucked up. I don't know how I would react if somebody told me that kind of shit. I would be like, well, because, like, on the one hand, you're like, I don't want to fucking piss you off right now because, like,
You might follow me to the creek. He might hunt me down like...
I don't know what I would do in that situation. That is fucked up. That is horrifying. Like, clearly Skye has never heard of just having a conversation with somebody to solve problems because she doesn't talk to Deidre when the two of them are having problems. So, like, I don't know what we expected. I expected it to be an accident and that she just was very guilty over it. No. She was like, no, I fucking... plotted his murder. That's murder in the first degree. There's malice aforethought. She planned it out. She followed him. She stalked him for a while. I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
It is, yeah.
That is horrifying. If somebody told me, if one of my best friends, especially in high school, told me that they did something like that, I would be like, what the actual fuck?
I'd be like,
I need to go to a new school now.
I'd be like, I can't talk to this person anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really nice right now.
Yeah.
But,
Oh my god! Okay, so the gang, of course, is shocked by this. And they're like, yeah, that's super fucked up and not okay, but, like, you're our friend? Kind of. And, like, William's obviously being very sweet because he still likes her and he doesn't want her to be this horrible person.
This horrible attempted murderer.
But during this time, the crow caws a warning like, "Tick-tock, bitch, you're running out of time! Caw-caw!" And she was like, I'm fucking trying here, but it's not my fault that they are nicer than I was expecting them to be. Like, fuck off. And so then she remembered the words of the bargain that she made. Make them hate you. So William is holding onto her hand gently, but he also isn't letting her pull it away. So she forces him away by twisting his arm around and, like, fucking up his shoulder. And Kevin becomes immediately defensive and is like, everybody just calm the fuck down, okay? Like, let's just take a chill pill. What the fuck? And Skye again tries to tell them that they don't understand because they, so far, don't seem to be getting it. They're like, yeah, that's really fucked up that you almost killed a guy. But they're still treating it like it was an accident, even though she just said, oh no, I fucking told him.
Fucking waterboarded this guy for a while.
And I planned, that was the plan, was to waterboard this fucker. And so she starts taunting William, being like, have you ever hurt somebody on purpose? And she gets kind of creepy with how easy it is and how you don't really have to know that much to do a lot of damage. And she's like, here, let me show you. And then she twists his arm around his back and shoves him into a wall, or into that wall.
Ooh.
And she says she could easily break his arm. She's like, just a couple more degrees and your arm is going to be broken, William. And she's like, I could also choke you in 10 seconds, which, okay, over here, I'm like, I know a lot about true crime and I've heard a lot of strangling cases and it takes minutes to strangle somebody, not 10 seconds. But, like, still scary that you're, like, threatening to fucking kill a guy right now that you supposedly like. What the fuck? Ah! Sorry. Oh, that was probably really loud for our listeners. I'm, like, really fucking freaking out, Ian. I'm scared. I don't know what I would do with it. Mom, take me home, please. I'm so fucking scared. I am home. But anyways.
I've never had a friend just go crazy.
No, I've not ever had a friend just do this kind of fucking weird shit and go crazy and tell me about this time that they almost killed a guy and then almost tried to kill me right in front. Like, no, I've never had that happen. Have you?
You just go, damn. That's crazy. And then they keep going, and you go, by the time you hit the third, damn, that's crazy. You're like, what else you want me to say? Damn, that's crazy.
So she basically just starts beating up William and is like, do you see how easy it is? Have you ever done this on purpose? Do you see? Like, I don't have to do much. I could easily kill you right now if I wanted to. And then she's like, is this what it takes for you to understand? And William obviously starts begging her to let go because he's in fucking pain. And she starts mocking him again, being like, you think Tyler didn't beg? You think he didn't apologize 1,000,000 times? And so then Sophie is shouting something, maybe trying to grab a neighbor's attention. But again, like, they're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in, like, the woods. There's not a lot of houses around. There's a lot of space in between each house. So there's not really anybody that can hear them. And then Kevin bursts in between Skye and William to break them up, and Skye immediately throws his ass to the ground because she already did that once. She punched him in the face the first time she met him, you know, and now she's like, motherfucker, and she, like, describes how, like, when he lands, she can hear, like, his pelvis, like, hit the ground pretty hard, and she's like, ooh, that's gonna hurt, kind of thing, and she almost has, like, this satisfaction out of it, meaning that she's like, even though she enjoyed their friendship, she also is kind of enjoying
hurting this man.
Yeah. Are we done yet? I demand, panting as William helps Kevin stagger to his feet, blood streaming down his face. I scream it up to the trees, to the watchers waiting there. Are we fucking done? Is that enough yet? Are you satisfied? And of course, I'm thinking about, like, okay, what the fuck do William and Kevin and Sophie think she's doing? But also they're like, she's fucking crazy right now. So, like, that whole attitude of her just, like, screaming up at the sky, are we fucking done? Like, just adds to the creep about her. Skye realizes that Sophie, in addition to her shouting, also started calling the police, or at least started calling somebody for help. So Skye slams her phone onto the pavement and it, like, skids off into the middle of the road. Silence falls after that. We stare at each other, me and them. Kevin and William draw protectively around Sophie, pulling her away from me. In another world, the bus is wheezing down the road toward us. What is wrong with you? Kevin demands, trying to stem his nosebleed with one hand. That was completely fucking psycho. And there it is. I fold my hands over my head, let my shoulders slump. I know, I say, and throw my bag over my shoulder and run back down the hill. Their bewildered, outraged voices following me like arrows.
Ooh. I said ooh again, damn it. Metaphor.
That's where I'm at.
Wow. That was really good.
I know! She's been so good at building us up. And I'm like, what the fuck happened with Tyler?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all of us are like, it can't be that bad.
Yeah, it's just a childhood fight.
And
blah,
I'm like,
blah, blah. Something bad happened,
and
but
I was like,
bad?
and I was thinking it was like maybe an accident, like she like, you know, like when you like accidentally get hit in the throat with stuff and like you can't breathe for a second and it's really scary. I was thinking it was going to be something to that effect, like where, because she knows karate, so I'm like, maybe she like punched him in the dick really hard and he like thought he was dying.
I thought she like cracked his skull and he went to the hospital or something.
Yeah.
Not purposefully tried to drown him.
Yeah, and it's so like I thought I didn't like Skye because she was being a bitch to Deidre earlier, but like, dude, I get why people don't like her. If you're a fucking attempted murderer, that's scary, and she needs help. Mm-hmm. And this is also why, like, this explains why the move seemed to be framed to help Deidre, as far as, like, her parents probably don't know that she did that. Because...
no, I think they did.
No, because Skye, at some point while she was, like, hurting William, and she was saying, like, you don't think Tyler begged and whatever, and she's like, I told him I would fucking kill him if he told anybody about this. And you don't think he didn't believe me? Like, he believed me. Because look at what I fucking did to him. You know, so it's like, I don't think anybody knew what I don't think even Deidre necessarily knew what she did. Like, Deidre knew that she, quote-unquote, captured Tyler, because she made comment of that when they first moved into the house. And she's like, ever since you captured Tyler, you've been super weird. And she's like, don't fucking talk to me about that. So, like, Deidre knew that Skye did something to make Tyler stop. But I don't think even Deidre knew all the stuff that she did. Maybe she did. I don't know. But that's fucked up. I don't know how else to... I'm like... So, I was not expecting it. I was expecting something, but I was not expecting her to be an attempted murderer.
Yeah.
And to be, like, kind of okay and enjoying of that fact as well. Like, that was really weird and really scary, and I was not about it.
Well, I guess we can say she did deserve the title Queen of Swords.
She also deserved the title Psycho Sky, because that was what her nickname was back at her old house, or at the old place.
Mm-hmm.
She's so far deserving of everything that she thought, and more. Mm-hmm. She is deserving of, at minimum, a jail sentence. Maybe some rehab and therapy.
Yeah.
So that was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And it's so scary, too.
Where's it gonna go from here?
I know. I'm like, okay, so that was task 1. Get your best friends and your love interest to hate you. Cool. Check. Done. I can't imagine that they are her biggest fans right now. What else are they gonna ask of her? You know?
Probably a lot.
I'm so scared for what the Forest is gonna ask of her. I'm so scared because what if Deidre isn't alive anymore? Deidre has to be alive. Like, the Forest is gonna ask... And we're only about halfway. Like, there's, like, 30-ish chapters in the book, and I just finished chapter 17.
That's exciting. That's actually really exciting.
It's like the story is just getting started. Like, this is where, like, the call to action kind of shit is. And, oh my god, is it a scary one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot to go through, and I have a long weekend where you're not going to be here. So we have to wait to record.
I'm going to go be an invader in the woods.
Oh my god. Well, okay, at least I promise that I, your love interest, am not going to be there to beat you up. I couldn't beat you up if I tried. And I promise that I have never attempted murder, so I don't have to reveal that secret to you. I think I've already revealed all of my secrets to you. So, I think we're good there.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I'm shooketh. Here I thought I was going to be scared by all the creepy forest monsters. No, I'm fucking scared of Sky.
Yeah, our protagonist.
She scares me.
Yeah, she's scary. She's a scary gal.
She'll cut a bitch. Or worse.
She literally, like, smashed her love interest's, like, whole body face into, like, a wall.
Yeah.
And she did something to Kevin.
She just, like, basically, like, punched him and he fell to the ground.
She, like, crumpled the man.
And then she threw Sophie's phone on the ground, which is also scary.
Like Sophie, yoink, get that shit out of here.
Yeah. And then they're like, that was fucking crazy. And she's like, yeah, it was. I know. And then she just, like, I imagine that she, like, grabs her bag and just, like, skips off. I know that's not what she says. She ran. But I'm like, in my head, the way that I picture this, to make it even creepier, is... she does all that crazy shit, and they're like, that's fucking crazy. And she goes, I know. Like, very, like, chipperly, and then grabs her stuff and, like, doop-de-doop-de-doo down the road.
I'm envisioning, she goes, yeah. And then she turns and just walks away, and then the crow flies to her.
Oh my god, and it would be so sick if it, like, landed on her shoulder, and then, like, she, you know, like, interacts with it in a way. Oh my god.
And then they would be, like, even more what the fuck.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so this is what I was doing at work today instead of my actual job, was I was reading.
I hope that, the chapter's over, so they're not going to hit it. I really kind of want a scene where they see the crow, like, follow her, or, like, keep dive bombing her of some kind. I want them to see the crow interact with Sky more.
Yeah. I also want to see if there is any possibility of redeeming herself. Because she introduced all of these characters, like William, Sophie, and Kevin. And she made us like these characters and whatever. And now I'm like, well, now that they hate Sky, are they going to be part of the story anymore? Or are they going to, whatever? So I wonder if there's any redemption that's going to happen. And I also wonder if there is redemption, is that going to jeopardize Deidre's safety? As far as, like, I feel like William is going to be incredibly forgiving about this, partly because, like, all of them will agree, like, Sky's under a lot of stress. Her sister's missing, and she shared this really dark story of her past and whatever. So, like, while it's fucked up that she also attacked us, and it's fucked up what she did in her past, I wonder if they're going to be like, could we forgive her for this just given the circumstances? And then the Forest finds out about that, and then the Forest gets pissed, and then is like, I wonder if that's something that's going to play into
maybe.
it. At the very least, I want there to be a redemption story, or like a redemption between Kevin and Sky. While a love interest is adorable and a best friend is great with Sophie, I need Kevin to be more part of the story, because Kevin was on her bullshit from the moment he met her. And I want Kevin to be a part of it. I want Kevin to know about the creepy forest magic. And I want him to be like, this is all also fucked up, Sky. I'm going to help you get your sister back, and you guys need to leave. Like, that's going to be like, he's like, I don't want anything bad to happen to your sister. She's an innocent 13-year-old. But, y'all gotta go once this is over. Like, that's what I hope to see happen, is that Sky and Kevin team up. Because he's got, like, the bullshit detector, and so does Sky in some way. And the two of them, I think, are gonna...
Yeah. No, I think Kevin's got the bullshit detector, and he's like, he's been honored. He's like, there's something off about this person. And then she's like, is there, though? Is there?
And he's like, yes, there is.
And she goes, interesting.
And she's like, you want to see it? You want to see what's going on?
And he's like, I have to protect my friend. I don't know why my friends like you so much. And she goes, I don't know why your friends like you.
I'm also curious about why the Wrights, and also really basically everybody in that town, it seems, like Kevin and Sophie and William and all of them, are considered invaders by the Forest. Because I don't know necessarily if the Forest magical creatures are inherently evil. It's very evil that they made her do that. But that's what trials in these kinds of books are like. It's like you in every book where there's trials, usually it's the third trial though. That's always like in every book that I've had where there's like 3 trials of a person or of our hero, they'll do stuff where like you have to betray the person you love or the people that you love in the last trial in some way. And like, so if you betray them, then you lose their trust, but you win. Or if you don't betray them, you lose and you die, so it's like, that's usually how that kind of thing happens. And so it's like in this situation, she had to betray the people that she loved first. And like, how do you go get worse than that?
Yeah, I feel that there's going to be a weird turn that happens. 'Cause I'm not sure this entity that she's interacting with is necessarily evil. I think whatever is killing the swamp is what's evil.
Oh.
So I think there's going to be a weird turn, since we're only about halfway, where this thing doesn't actually have Deidre, and she's in bigger trouble further in.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. And I think that this forest entity isn't necessarily, like you said, I don't think it's necessarily the evil thing. I don't think it's good or evil, and it is making her do some very evil things, but it's kind of like, this is a necessary evil, one, so that the forest can trust her, but also it's something about like being your true self and whatever, which is there is all this talk of like invaders and doing what is necessary to protect yourself against invaders, like with the rose bush in the last episode that we talked about, with the rose bush dying because the ground was rejecting it and like treating it like an invader. And maybe that's what's going on with the swamp, is that there's something invading, and that's that evil entity that you're talking about. and it is doing what is necessary to protect itself. And it's the same kind of thing here. Skye had to do what's necessary to protect either herself or her family, like Deidre and stuff like that. So she had to be who she truly is, which is this horrible, horrible person. And I think the question then becomes, do the ends justify the means? And in this situation, I'm like, I don't think so.
I don't know. You just kind of beat up some people for seemingly no reason.
I'm just thinking back to the episode when we talked about how with Skye beating up Deidre's bullies in the past, and how we made the joke about her like drop kicking kids across the field and shit like that. And now I'm like,
she probably was doing that.
She probably was.
I wasn't really joking. I was like, she probably was.
I mean, she was probably doing a lot worse than that too. Jeez.
Which is why my initial thought was she probably put this person in the hospital by like kicked them in the head and
right. I just didn't understand
like
how
they fall and like smack their skull open.
Right, and it was still like kind of treated like an accident. I just couldn't see how that would still be framed as Deidre's fault. Because, like, there was this kind of, like, understanding that the reason they moved was because of Deidre and not because of Skye.
Because Skye doesn't see it as her fault still, because she's doing it for Deidre.
Right.
So anything she's
Deidre
doing...
made me do it.
Anything she's doing for Deidre is Deidre's fault, not her own fault.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack with Skye and her psychology, and... she needs a therapist, and she needs a lot of help because she scares me.
She's scary, so yeah.
Oh my gosh, what did we learn today?
Skye is a bit scarier than we initially thought. There's multiple skull puppets.
Yeah, and they're super creepy. Just what I'm picturing in my head is super creepy with the skull puppets. I learned that you can get a lot of fish in 10 minutes and then lose it all.
That's what I get for joining a public lobby. Should have gone private. But I was being greedy. I wanted them to complete tasks while I was doing that.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm like so shaken, but I also want to keep reading. So I think we should wrap this up and talk about our socials.
You can check us out on Instagram at
A Pot of Sass.
Send us an email.
apotofsass@gmail.com.
Check out our awesome Patreon.
Patreon.com/apotofsassandSarcasm. We have a couple of episodes out there now for our Patreon donors, folks, with a couple of our practice episodes.
Yeah, we have some ideas for some additional types of content on there as well. So leave a comment anywhere if you have an idea of something you might want to hear.
Yeah. Whether it's for the public release episodes or just for the Patreon donors, we're open to a lot of ideas for everything. And I really, really hope that this was not so traumatizing that you never listen to us again. I really hope you keep listening.
Hope you keep listening.
And we hope that you stay sassy, nerds.
Later.
Scared you.
Was it the ominous lighting?
Yeah, I blame you for this. We could have done it in the bright, harsh top light, and instead...
The harsh titty light?
The harsh titty light, and instead we have cute little twinkly lights.
The ceiling titty light.